Across Australia, the wheels of industry turn 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. These machines are tough, and the teams of people running them are even tougher. But what happens when these massive machines break down?
That's the fun bit.
Teams of mechanics, engineers, fitters and boilermakers step up to battle against tight deadlines in some of the harshest working environments on the planet.
These are the optimum working conditions.
From deep underground, on the water, on the front line, to high in the sky, they do the vital repair work to keep these heavy metal wonders alive.
Planned out well, turned out better.
This is Mega Mechanics. This time on Mega Mechanics. Nestled high amongst Australia's alpine peaks, a specialist team of maintenance workers and engineers are racing against the clock to bring one of the country's largest hydro power stations back to full capacity before the summer peak season.
When you have a 10-tonne intermediate shaft that's attached to another 10-tonne runner, if we make contact, it could be catastrophic.
With no room for error, will the crucial commissioning test be cause for celebration or concern?
We're not doing it. We're not running again.
Whenever you're ready, Benny.
Clear.
The Royal Flying Doctor Service base in Brisbane is pushed to the limit as it's out with the old to make way for a new engine.
Obviously, prop's the first thing to come off on your engine change. Take it easy. We're snagging at the back on something. Wait.
The pressure is on to get it replaced and the plane back in the fleet's vital rotation.
It's just going to crack, just like it did last time. That's how bad it is.
Towering over the streets of Brisbane, they're building a mega crane, piece by piece.
Now we're bringing that big machinery deck and the cabin back up. Place it back on, fold it back up.
But connecting components 50 metres above ground can have its challenges.
And hold that for a second, Juddy. Sorry, just so you can pull the around a little bit.
And one wrong move could send this construction crashing down.
Hoist up. Hold that. Whoa. Daft watch.
It is a fantastic office. Spending my time in the Kosciuszko National Park, it is an absolutely magnificent part of the world.
Lying in the shadow of Mount Kosciuszko in New South Wales, Australia's tallest mountain peak, Murray 1 is the nation's second largest hydro power station. It's part of the Snowy Hydro Scheme, which produces around half the continent's hydro power.
Murray 1 power station, there is 10 hydro generators that take the water from the GI River and produce approximately 950 megawatts of power. The average household uses 25 kilowatts a day, so there's a big contribution there to the state's power. At the moment, we've got 2 Murray 1 units out of service, getting major overhauls. If a unit's not spinning, it's not making any money, so we want it back. We want it back as soon as we can.
Overseeing these major works is Manager of Regional Support, Ant, whose team of technicians and mechanics are overhauling one of the generators.
So this unit was forced out due to extensive cracking being found in the turbine top cover. So we had to send the top cover away for repair.
Over the course of several labour-intensive months, a total of 20,000 hours of work, Unit 2's top cover, which weighs around 17 tonnes, was removed and sent off-site for repairs. It has recently passed rigorous testing and been successfully reinstalled. But there's plenty more work to be done to get this behemoth unit back online. Overseeing the hands-on work is Outage Manager Nathan.
So today we've got to the stage where we've reassembled the turbine, so top cover's been off-site for repairs. We're actually installing the intermediate shaft today, which is quite a big milestone for us.
Measuring 5 metres tall and weighing over 10 tonnes, the intermediate shaft is the driving force between the turbine and the electric generator. Water from the higher reservoir flows through the penstocks into each turbine. The water flows through the generating unit at 24,000 litres per second. The flow of the water turns the turbine, spinning the intermediate shaft at 500 revs per minute. The generator attached to the top of the shaft uses this kinetic energy to produce electricity, which is fed via transformers into the system.
It's very important we get this unit back online prior to the summer period. That tends to be the time that we are generating the most in this region. To not have this unit ready for summer would be a big impact on the business.
Before the intermediate shaft can be craned into position, Nathan's team need to do some critical fine-tuning to the turbine top cover.
So we're just sitting the top pot down onto the top cover. It houses the guide vane, which governs the flow rate of water into the runner, which governs the speed of the generator. It's very important to get the measurements right, otherwise it can foul the guide vane, causing unwanted stress on it. If I get this wrong, we won't get the right clearance of the top pot, so the guide vane will suffer for it. You're working with 0.06 of a millimetre, so there's not much room to move there.
We're just going to start getting prepped for an engine change. So, if I can get a screw out.
Brisbane Airport, the third largest in Australia. The local Royal Flying Doctors Service is based at the northern end of the runways. Roughly 1,000 people in rural communities around Australia rely on these planes every day.
The aircraft operate in a wide variety, from the international airport here at Brisbane down to a dirt strip and the Farmer Joe's paddock. So we operate in all sorts of environments. The aircraft themselves cop an awful lot of abuse at times from rocks, stones. We rely on the engineers here to keep our aircraft up in the air so that we can have a safe operation.
This is one of 20 aircraft that make up the Queensland RFDS fleet. It's in the hangar because its left-hand engine is due for an overhaul.
6,500 flight hours, we'll change the engines. It's not that often.
The team's patient is a King Air B200C, powered by a pair of Pratt & Whitney Canada PT6A-42 turboprop engines. Its maximum speed, 278 knots. Replacing the engine is a multi-step process, starting with the removal of the spinner and cowling, the cover that reduces drag and helps to cool the engine. Next, the 60-kilogram propeller will be detached and hauled out with a small mobile crane. After wiring and other components are removed, a larger crane will hoist out the 180-kilogram engine. Once useful parts are stripped off and transferred to the new engine, the installation process can begin. The crew have 3 days to get this plane reassembled and back to servicing rural communities in Queensland.
There's always pressure to have it turned around, mate. They never complain if they get it early, put it that way. I guess that's our job. We just got to make sure it's done properly. Make sure she's right before she goes out.
With the spinner and cowling out of the way, the team get their first look at the state of the engine frame and some previous repair work done to it.
This bush is even cracked, that's how bad it is. We've got to change the engine frame on this because there's a little bit of a repair. It's a temporary repair that's approved, but we just need to pull that out and put a new frame in, so that'll make the process a little bit longer.
Tough news, a delay so early in the process. Pressing on, before the old engine gets sent off for refurbishment, all of its openings need to be closed off and a preservative oil added to avoid any contamination.
So this is for the preservation of the engine. So it needs to run in at 16 to 25 PSI. So we've got this little rig that'll push the preservative oil into the fuel system. Got to preserve this thing while it's on wing, while we can turn it over. Right, I got him. So you've got to have your fuel control at your ground idle, so your conditional lever at ground idle, and your throttle's got to be full forward. It's going to motor the engine over, and that's going to, I've got 25 PSI on the pot down here, and it's going to push the preservative oil through the fuel system and out of the, before it gets to the flow divider. All right, Benny, whenever you're ready, my friend. Just remember 15 seconds stopped you.
A simple task, but having 4 spinning blades just centimetres away majorly ups the ante.
Up you go, mate, clear.
It's a steaming hot day on this massive construction site for the team from Lindor's Construction Logistics.
Hot is getting very warm, mate. Hold hot. Guard left.
Brothers Nick, Matt and Chris are working with Multiplex and Destination Brisbane Consortium to transform the underutilised Queen's Wharf site in Brisbane. 9 of their tower cranes dominate the skyline above the 7.5 hectare site.
Creep up on that hoist, please. Hoisting up. Need about half a metre. That'll do, mate. Hold that.
But as the development grows, these mega cranes need to be repositioned to keep pace with the build. One of them was recently pulled down to move to a new part of this waterfront site.
Putting it up always takes a lot longer because you gotta keep everything a bit clean.
The base of the tower has already been constructed, but the operating components still need to be installed. With the help of another crane, the deck and cabin will be the first section delivered, and the crew will need to attach it to the rotating slewing ring. 6 counterweights will then be dropped in, followed by the diesel engine that powers the machine. The A-frame that guides the crane's cables will be put in place before the 45-metre long boom is attached. Construction needs to be completed within half a day.
Now we're bringing that big machinery deck and the cabin back up. Place it back on, fold it back up.
The 11.5-tonne working platform is designed for stability rather than manoeuvrability.
Steady, Shadow.
And hold that for a second, Juddy. You see you pull around a little bit.
In a scene more at home on the space station, the crew is trying to dock the deck.
You going around?
Yeah, it's gone long.
Just start hooking down a bit more, Juddy.
That ladder is perfect.
But lining up 48 bolts with their holes in the slewing ring is proving a mission impossible.
Yeah, I'm just pushing it that way.
We're spinning, are we?
Righto, Juddy, just bump right, mate. Bump right. Slew's good, just jib up.
Every time they feel they're getting close,
Righto, mate, hold that.
the smallest of movements has them back to the start.
See if we can spin him and get one hold up. Oh, he bounced.
Keep coming down on A. Hold him there. Up on A.
Under the shadow of Mount Kosciuszko, the maintenance team at Murray 1 Power Station are racing against the clock to bring Unit 2 back online before the summer peak period.
Hold him there. Down on B. Stop.
With the precision of pot calibrations checked and double-checked, it's time to shift from measuring tenths of millimetres to lifting tens of tonnes.
We're just sitting that bearing housing into position now. Critical to get this lift right and get it into position, ready for the intermediate shaft to come.
Yeah, mate. Hold him there.
Job well done. I know that was a job well done.
We're just going to put the bolts in now, bolt him up, so we can bring that intermediate shaft down, put it in position.
Yep. So this is the intermediate shaft, 5 metres tall, over 10 tonne and spins at 500 RPM. So when it's in service, it's generating 95 megawatts, big bit of kit. So this is the connecting link between the turbine and the generator. So water goes through our turbine, this connects the turbine then to the generator, and the generator generates the electricity. We've been working on this project for the last few months. This intermediate shaft has been pulled out and had some work done on it on site here, some remedial works. Happy with the progress of that, and we're just about to install it into the turbine now. This lift will be quite a complex lift, so we do use the overhead crane for the first part of the lift, and then there are turbine cranes down below. We've had to lift some floor plates to actually get the intermediate shaft down through there, and then down 3 levels to the turbine floor is where we'll install it. If we did get this wrong and we did go too close to an operating unit and it did impact on an operating unit, then there could be catastrophic failure of one of those units. So if this falls while we're lifting it, you don't want to be anywhere near it. We've gone through all our risk assessments, we've got the drop zone clearly demarcated, and we've got watchers on standby to make sure that these things don't happen.
At this critical juncture, Nathan's boss, Ant, has arrived on the work floor to check on progress.
So he'll take it over the hole and he'll take it over the hole and then lower it down, and then they'll stop him, train him to stop, and then he'll go down the stairs and continue it.
And then they'll transfer it to the turbine after that. Yeah.
Essentially, Nathan manages the site. He's the accountable individual at the end of the day, and he answers to myself. So if Nathan gets it wrong, his boss won't be very happy with him.
But creating extra pressure is the furthest thing from Ant's mind. He's there to provide additional support.
Leaders these days should be out there on the floor talking to the guys, and I'm a big advocate of visual felt leadership. I certainly love and enjoy working with the team that I have here. I'm extremely confident that we can get this unit back into service prior to the summer period.
With the rigging set, it's crunch time. As tension increases on the chains, it also rises on the work floor. There's a lot riding on this lift and very little room for error.
Whenever you're ready, Benny. Clear. Give it 30 seconds, we'll go again.
Standing just clear of sharp whizzing blades is all part of the job. Keeping Royal Flying Doctor Service planes in the air. This maintenance team in Brisbane have 3 days to replace an engine and get this turboprop intensive care ward back in the sky.
Matt's done a lot more engine changes than what I have, so he's got a lot more experience than me. He did 18 within his first year being here.
Knowing that nationally, 1,000 people rely on these planes every day is a fact that drives the crew. But after discovering a badly damaged engine frame, sticking to the original deadline is going to be a challenge.
Just slinging the prop up ready for removal. Prop's the first thing to come off on your engine change. Take the weight with the hoist and I'll be able to remove my bolts and move her out the way. Pretty tight space to get the bolts out there.
This 60-kilo propeller's finally ready for takeoff.
Make sure we've got enough weight on it. Just give it a wiggle, let her dribble.
Nice.
Done.
Now, the laborious dismantling phase, stripping the engine down to its core.
This is never ending.
No, it's a hard thing, hey?
Oh, I'm just gonna undo it and pull it through, mate. Electrical wires, mate. They seem to run everywhere. Last hour I've been getting rid of all this wiring loom, which is time consuming and pretty painful, to be honest with you. Oh, look at that, there we go. That's what we don't need. I'll put that on the bench.
Feeling the pressure a little bit with this, because we've got to do the engine frame and everything as well in this engine change. Generally, we wouldn't go to this in depth of taking all these different P-clamps and all that stuff off. They would usually stay with the frame. But because we've got to replace this whole frame assembly, it's taking a lot longer than normal.
The new engine is ready and waiting. But before they can crack open the box, the team have got to get cracking on hauling out the old one.
Watch your backs, boys.
Derek, the senior base engineer, is lending a hand setting up the crane that's rated to hoist 1/2 ton.
Yep, you're controlling, brother. I'll just be watching.
We're good at the front.
We're good still here so far. Take it easy. We're snagging at the back on something. Wait.
Now see if we can spin him and get one hold up.
Nick and his crew from Lindor's Construction Logistics are trying to line up dozens of bolts 50 metres above the streets of Brisbane.
Nah, it'll have to probably come back to me.
It's only the first step in getting this relocated crane operational again, so it can continue to earn its keep.
Just come up and touch Juddy. Hoist up.
Don't tell me it's the ladder.
That ladder's perfect.
Righto, hoist down.
Fully bounce.
Keep coming, Juddy. Coming down again, mate. Hoist down. Touching. A bit more. Keep coming. Righto, nuts on.
Yeah.
Good work, boys.
The crew is quick to secure the deck, just in time for the 3.7-ton counterweights to start descending.
Keep coming, mate. Half a metre till you're going to touch. Lower up a touch. Very good pace. Out to touch. Touching. Beautiful, buddy. Righto, mate. Hoist up.
The arrival of the next part is critical in getting the crane up and running.
Now we get the power back up. Get that all sitting here. Get our fitter up here. He can start hooking all the hydraulic hoses and everything back up, all the electrical and everything like that. That gets the crane functional, and then we can slew wherever we need to.
The 9-ton diesel engine drives all the mechanics of the crane, and it's all hands on deck to ensure its safe delivery.
Steady.
Smile up back.
Probably a little jib down or something, mate.
Yeah, I'll get the bolts through.
Bolts themselves do most of the work. They hold the power pack down. Just to line them up, so the easy side of it. We got smooth drivers working for us, smooth and safe drivers, so they make our lives a lot easier up here.
Righto, Johnny. Little jib down, mate. Steady jib down.
Yep.
Right.
Spot on.
So far, the crew has spent just over an hour getting this crane constructed, but the challenging parts are still to come. Fortunately, weather conditions are calm. It's the ideal scenario when large parts are flying through the sky, trying to land on this elevated speck towering over the city.
We are now getting the A-frame back up here, which is straight above our heads.
The A-frame, which is the second to last piece to go into position, sits above the deck and channels cables out to the boom.
Coming round behind you, Shane.
It's a straightforward structure, and at 5 tons is the lightest of the pieces that need to be placed today.
Yeah, looking good, Johnny. Made up.
The front's going to go in first.
But that's not to say it's going in without a fight.
Up and out. Up and back. Oh, put it in.
Get in there!
In the mountainous heartland of the iconic Aussie poem, The Man from Snowy River, there's movement at the station. Big movement. Now halfway through the job, it's time to deliver Unit 2's 10-ton intermediate shaft to its rightful place, 3 floors below. When moving an object of this size and weight, controlling its inertia is critical. The crane movement is slow and deliberate to avoid any pendulum effect or lateral movement. Eventually, the team finds its mark with pinpoint precision.
So far, so good. So we've done the first step of the lift. Next step is hooking it up to the turbine crane and getting it onto the turbine shaft. We use 2 turbine cranes for this lift, one upstream of the shaft, one downstream of the shaft. So this needs a little bit more coordination, this lift, rather than the last one, because we are using the 2 different cranes and we are swinging it into position.
Nathan's acutely aware that any mistakes made here would almost certainly mean that the unit wouldn't be ready for the beginning of the critical summer peak period. But he's confident in his crew's ability.
Absolutely great team that we've got here. Very experienced riggers and crane drivers here, so they're doing very well with this lift so far.
But even for an experienced, trained team, it's not always smooth sailing. The crane driver's vision is obstructed by the bulk of the intermediate shaft, and he's unaware of an obstruction in his blind spot. But there are many eyes on this critical task, and the pitfall is spotted by a rigger before it can create a problem.
Right, we'll go upstream. Yeah, keep going. All right, hold him there.
But there's a problem.
Better run out of room. Gonna have to take it off, take them shackles off the back. And just go 1 point lift at the back. All right, back downstream, sorry.
We're just making sure that with this adjustment that we do have the right amount of head height to be able to make sure the shaft fits between the concrete floor up the top and then goes over the reg ring down the bottom. Not a whole lot of room for error at all.
After some fine-tuning, the team's back on track.
A little bit of a hiccup, but yeah, we just made a minor adjustment to the rigging of the shaft and yeah, just swung it into place now. So progressing well, just putting the studs in now. So these are starter studs. Later on, we will put the final studs into place with dry ice. They're actually an interference fit. So this is a very good milestone for us today.
But it's too early to celebrate just yet. There's a crucial phase of testing ahead that could be the undoing of months of hard work.
So once this machine has been reassembled, we will have a week's commissioning work after that, just to do some testing, make sure that everything's okay before we put it back into service and have it back on the market.
The team just has to complete some last-minute refining because their margin for error is next to nil.
If we get some of these things slightly wrong, things can jam up, the machine may not run up and we'd actually be pulling the machine back apart again, so very critical.
Take it easy. We're snagging at the back on something. Wait.
Manoeuvring a 180-kilogram engine out of its frame is a delicate part of a 3-day job for the maintenance team at the Royal Flying Doctor Service Base in Brisbane. Any delays in the hangar will mean the longer this aircraft remains out of the fleet's rotation.
All right, she's loosey-goosey now. She's a bit nose-heavy now. Wait up.
Hang on. Wait up a second. Got a problem?
This whole yellow thing needs to move that way. On yours, Benny.
Yeah.
No, that way.
It's jammed in here on this side.
They've got to be gentle. Any damage will make the refurbishment of this old engine more expensive.
There we go.
Yeah, mate.
We're out.
You got it, Derek? I'll go help Matty.
I just got to take this bonding lead off.
What is it? What size?
A 716.
Oh, yeah. It's weighing.
It is.
Hang on a second.
Jeez, I drained that good, eh? It's all got to come out, Benny, so just let it go. Throw the towel on the floor. Whoa. Yep, we're about there.
Now is when a new engine would usually be hoisted in. But because they still have to remove and repair the damaged engine frame, it will have to wait.
We're trying to juggle 2 jobs at the one time, so Benny really looked after the engine removal, and while I was playing around with getting the frame free of the wiring looms and cables, so obviously these guys want it back in the sky as soon as possible to get it back joining the rest of the fleet. We'll see how we go. We may or may not come across a couple of snags.
With the first day of this 3-day engine replacement ending, the team knows there's still a lot to do.
Up and out, up and back. Get in there!
Nick and the team from Lindor's Construction Logistics are trying to assemble a massive crane 50 metres above Brisbane's CBD. The A-frame has 4 securing points that need to be connected.
How are we looking, Nico?
We'll need some hoist up.
It's taking a combined effort just to line up the holes.
Righto, Johnny. Just come up nice and easy, mate. Just luff up, steady. Hold that. Take it out.
No, that's it. He's in. He's in. Hit the hammer and hit it. Go.
Only one pin now stands between the crew and the next piece of this crane puzzle.
Johnny, just come up a fraction more, mate. Hoist up. Righto, hoist down.
And it's a case of approaching it from all angles.
Put it from this side. Yeah, we'll get him, mate. Righto. Coming up, Nico.
Not bad. Now we've got the jib coming back up, so slot her in nicely, put the pins in, put the ropes back in.
The 45-metre long boom weighs 8.5 tonnes, but just 2 bolts connect it to the crane's tower.
All coming in nice, mate. Yeah, looking good, mate.
Go right, Harry.
Right, that boys again, mate.
We're in.
This load-bearing part of the structure has slotted in easily.
Yep.
Right, hoist down, mate.
Now we're going to run all our rope system through, which will then lift the jib on its own, so then we can unhook the other crane, and this crane will become self-sufficient.
Rigging up the crane will be the most time-consuming part of the construction, as Nick leaves his steady platform to go out on a limb.
Camo, when you're ready, come with me, grab one pair of nips, please. We're going out to the bridle platform so that we can watch all our ropes run through, make sure everything comes through safely.
Right, Nico.
Yep.
Righto, Harry, start luffing up, mate.
In crane speak, luffing is the lifting and lowering of a load. And in this case, the team wants to raise the bridle that the ropes will run through.
Bridle is lifting.
It's a delicate balancing act as the weight starts to shift from the slings of the second crane to the partially constructed machine.
Pennants are just starting to take weight, mate.
At this critical juncture, the slightest snag could undo all the hard work.
All right, you good? Hoist up. What? Hold that. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Daft what?
If we get some of these things slightly wrong, things can jam up, the machine may not run up, and we'd actually be pulling the machine back apart again, so very critical.
After months of careful planning, disassembly, maintenance and reassembly, it's time for Murray 1's newly refurbished Unit 2 to be put to the test.
Just doing a few tweaks now and a few last-minute tests for our offline commissioning before we do start our online commissioning. We're just measuring the uplift on the reg ring just to make sure that when the 2 hydraulic servos do move in and out to regulate the turbine, that there aren't any issues with the reg ring jumping up and down. So a couple of mil out on this measurement could actually mean that we don't regulate the turbine properly and we could have a runaway event. So definitely not something that we want. But that would then result in the turbine overspeeding. If that happened, then the turbine could actually start throwing itself apart.
The online commissioning and testing is the final step before returning the unit to service. The stakes couldn't be higher. The difference between celebration and catastrophe is separated by just a fraction of a millimetre.
So what we're just about to do right now is first rotation. So what we're monitoring for today is just any vibration. Nervous and excited, it will tell us whether all the work we have done over the last few months has been successful. Very little room for error. So a lot of our clearance are sub-millimetre, so 0.02 and so on in our bearings, and then all our clearances around our covers and things like that. So when we do run up today, there is very little room for error. Any contact could cost us weeks or months worth of rebuilding the unit, pulling back apart, redoing it, re-putting it back together.
The dynamic brake will come on, and then we'll do come up to 95 and then back to 70.
Dave is the plant's commissioning coordinator. He's in charge of bringing the unit back online safely and efficiently. Despite the looming deadline, Dave's not taking any shortcuts.
We are being very cautious. These units are very precious to us, so we certainly don't want to damage them at all. And this is really just tuning the unit so we get good, reliable running out of it. If we rushed it, we could have a serious problem.
With all the checks and balances now in place, it's the moment of truth.
So, unit starting. That'll start pulling back in. AVR switches on at 90% speed.
Everything sounds normal so far.
But it's not long before there's a problem.
I mean, the risk is doing a trip, having a trip at 95. It's not so much running at 95, it's the risk of a trip. Is that correct?
Yeah. What's the risk of like runaway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Steve, we're not doing it. We're not running again. So we've just finished our first test and we've got an issue with the unit lifting up by 1.3 mils. And we're worried that if the unit was in service and we had a trip at 95 megawatts, the unit would lift up a little bit higher, up to about 2.5 mils, and we could come in contact with one of our covers. So that's why we've been doing this test, and we need to tune the pressures around the turbine so it doesn't rise that much.
While Dave's team of engineers crunch the numbers, down below, Nathan's crew of mechanics are getting their hands dirty working on a potential solution.
A few of the things that we have done to prevent that is we've changed the orifice plates out on the crown pressure pipework. That actually increases the pressure on the top of the runner, which helps push it back down during its rotations.
The last thing the team needs is for the shaft to damage the cover. The pressure's mounting on them to fix the problem, and fix it now.
We've removed everything that's been attached to this frame and we're just about to pull it off. All right, ready to pull it off.
It's now day 2 of the engine replacement job for the Royal Flying Doctor Service maintenance team in Brisbane.
Usually we have a fair bit of time pressure put onto us in regards to getting the aircraft back out online. We try not to feel it, but obviously it's always there. There we go, we're off.
While Ben unwraps the new engine frame,
Like Christmas.
Matt discovers a nasty surprise.
Oh, dog.
Removing the damaged engine frame has exposed another problem.
There's a bit of corrosion in the attached fittings on the wing side frame, and I'm just getting the corrosion out and then I'll treat it. So when it goes back together, it's not gonna generate a crack or anything, so.
Done. Jake, the apprentice, steps up for some hands-on experience.
All right, Jake, steadier at the front. Push it there. Nice and straight. You good, Benny? Just gonna make sure that the engine mount frame's flush with the firewall. That they're tightening up evenly. We need to make sure we put the correct washer in the correct spot because it has a countersink in it for the head of the bolt. Good. Good Asbro. Torque wrench.
What is the torque for this?
365 to 390 it was, so we'll go 390. Do the toppies. All right, we'll do the bottomies. If you over-torque it, it'll stretch the bolt, which will create stress raises in that bolt, and it ultimately is going to fail. So hence the reason why everything that we pretty much put together will have a torque.
Attaching the new frame has revealed what damaged the old one.
So the temporary repair that we had on the engine mount frame had a bracket on the back which was holding our baffle in the incorrect position, which was causing the ice vane actuator to cock inwards. I've loosened everything off, I've removed the bracket, and now we're able to line the ice vane actuator up so it can drive straight and not cause any cracking or braking. So it's a win.
The team need all the wins they can get. The complicated process of putting this aeronautical puzzle back together is sped up thanks to time-saving reference photos.
So you need to bring all your stuff around past me.
There we go, that's making sense. And that wraps up underneath, doesn't it?
The end of shift is fast approaching, so Matt's multitasking.
There you go. Do your old thing.
Matt's attempt to pick up time has been in vain. There's an issue with the new engine frame.
All my baffles don't line up very nicely. Problem is you load it up and force it in, it's just going to crack, just like it did last time.
All right, you good? Hoist up. Hold up. Whoop, 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 whoop. Daft, watch. Hoist up, mate. Hoist up.
50 metres above the city of Brisbane, Nick and his crew are trying to rig a $1.5 million crane.
Little more, mate. Little more.
The slings from a second tower are no longer needed to support the boom. But now the tension has been released, they're at risk of getting entangled.
Do you want to Juddy off? Because we're wrapped around his rope. And then we'll go right if you want, so we're more straight direct over it.
The crane is now standing on its own, but it still needs all the cables to be connected.
Now we'll start hooking up the hoist rope to be run out, which is what the actual hook is held on by. That's what does all the heavy lifting and everything like that.
The hoist rope weighs around half a tonne.
See you, mate. Very good. Righto.
So it's hooked up to a forklift to help pull it into place. For the team, it's another step closer to putting this valuable asset back to work.
We're just getting this ready so that as soon as that luff rope's done, we can run this rope straight out, hook on, hand the crane over to our fitter, Harry, so he can start commissioning, do his load test, check all his limits.
Coming onto your hook, mate.
That's good, eh?
3 hours after arriving, Nick and his crew leave the newly constructed mega crane in its new position on the Queen's Wharf site and in the capable hands of its operator.
Perfectly. Exactly as we planned.
Yeah, it did, mate. No dramas. Everyone was on point. All the boys done very well. Everyone had their head switched on and it was good.
No yelling, just fun.
Steve, we're not doing it. We're not running again.
Having failed the first commissioning test, the maintenance team at Murray 1 Hydro Power Station are under the pump to bring Unit 2 back online before the looming summer peak season. With the turbine lifting dangerously, Nathan's team have been hard at work making adjustments.
I think we should be doing the 95.
Having given his tick of approval for Nathan's work on the orifice plates, Dave's now confident the unit can be tested at full speed.
And that sets us up for the next test, which is raising the 95 megawatts and then do another ESPB trip and monitor it coming to a standstill.
As an added safety precaution, a load rejection test will also be completed to observe how the unit reacts to a sudden loss of external power.
Just to make sure that if we did have an abnormal event in service that we have tested the worst case.
Yeah, so we've got to prove that our units can operate correctly at any time. We could have a trip for something happening.
Yep, no, that sounds like a good plan.
With all teams anxiously on standby, the unit is powered up. While Dave and his team closely monitor the feedback from sensitive probes on their screens, Nathan checks on the mega hardware below, and the results look promising.
So we've just done our last load rejection test, part of the commissioning. It did go well, so it's a big relief when we pull one of these units apart and put it back together. A lot of pressure, a lot of hours have gone into it, and yeah, big relief today just to see it go back into service and yeah, all the commissioning tests well done, ticked off, so big effort from the team.
The the frame's just a little bit different, so all my baffles don't line up very nicely. It's just going to crack, just like it did last time.
A setback right at the end of a shift. Trying times for the maintenance crew at the Royal Flying Doctor Service Base in Brisbane. They've got to work fast, with only 1 day left to get a brand new engine installed and tested.
Not only do I have an engine change to do, now I've got to change the baffles because they don't line up to the new frame. So there's a bit of sheet metal work to do, which is going to set us back again, but you get that. The last thing I want to do is crack another frame, so.
With only an hour until the end of Matt and Ben's shift, they get cracking. Job done, and just in time, as it's the end of their working week.
See you, Derek. To the box that you've used.
Oh, okay, yep.
Over the weekend, the store manager, Lauren, has worked her magic, sourcing essential parts to get this plane back in action.
So our gasket kit finally rocked up this morning. Our store lady, Lauren, went and picked it up for us.
Component swapping is the first order of the day.
Can I pull this oil thing out?
Yeah. You can do those switches. It'd be sweet as.
After multiple hiccups, the team's set to hang the new engine.
All right, let's go up, Rob.
Stop there.
Slowly. The other up.
Pretty close to being not far off, boys.
Yeah, it's very close.
Safely in the new frame, the left wing is now taking the new engine's weight.
Past 3 days of this engine change, obviously it hasn't been as smooth as we would like it to be. And that's one thing that we hadn't experienced here yet at RFDS Queensland, changing a frame. It takes 3 days to change an engine, so to be where we are at the moment, I think we're sitting pretty good and we'll still get it out in time.
As predicted, Matt and the team delivered.
Betty and myself went out and did some engine runs and rigging, and she's right to go.
Now that it's back up to speed, the plane can get back to work, helping pilots and medical teams live up to the Royal Flying Doctor Service motto, transporting them to the furthest corner to deliver the finest care.